Listen,
Right.
my last 12 years in the military, I dealt with a lot of female soldiers, and they would do that whiny cry shit in front of me. I'm like, you need to shut the fuck up. All right. You're wearing that uniform, you're getting treated like a dude. What
Damn
is your
right.
fucking problem? Do you need my assistance? If so, what is it? Because I did not put up with that. And after a while, they just quit talking to me, which is great.
So I watched Saving Private Ryan recently, and I had never seen it actually
Woo!
before.
That's a tough one.
And I was watching it. Yeah, I was watching it, dude, and I was just like the whole time. And obviously, it's depicted during World War II, but the whole time I just was like, why does any woman want to do this? Why does any woman want to be
Yep.
in this environment? And it's super gory, and I actually like. It was a really really great.
That's the way
movie.
war
I really
is.
liked
Yeah.
it.
Here's another
And
thing.
exactly,
Yeah.
it's like I would
This-
never
this
want to
is
do
a-
that.
This is another thing that's going to tweak your nugget over Saving Private Ryan. It starts and ends in a cemetery overseas.
Yep.
All of those men who were drafted were so goddamn expendable to our government,
Yep.
they couldn't even be bothered to ship their carcasses home to their families.
Yep. And didn't they just recently find a downed submarine off the coast of Japan, still with all the bodies inside?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's
That's crazy.
it is crazy, but you know that it's
But
that's what
they're not going to
happens.
go down there and retrieve them
no,
and bring
no.
remains back to the family.
No,
you know.
you can't. I mean, there's some things. Listen, if it's 1,500 feet, that's very hard to do.
I have no idea how deep it was.
But a cemetery in another fucking country
Yeah.
that contains our dead who were drafted and then died.
Yep. They were forced to go over.
Yeah, they were forced to go there, and they were literally the ultimate betrayal is the government that forced them to go over said, you're dead, fuck it.
Yep.
You know, goddamn it,
Yeah.
that still pisses me off to this day.
And your reaction is perfectly sensible. Why would any woman want to do this? Not only that, here's the real kicker. Why would any woman insist on lowered standards just so they can do it?
Yeah, listen. We've did the one on Ranger School and the Q course. We did a couple episodes on those.
Yeah.
I had 11 Ranger instructors who were in the school when these women graduated Ranger School, and they held their hands, gave them additional chances to do stuff. You know, looked the other way for things. Like in Ranger School, if you do 72 hours of sick call, you recycle automatically. These women were going back to the rear between 2 and 4 hours every third day for the entire cycle. That adds up to like 96 hours. And they still got to graduate. They literally, and I'm so disappointed in the officers who run Ranger School that none of them had one testicle between them to sit there and say, no. You went over 72 hours. You either take a day one recycle or you're out.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
No, I have a lot of problems with that actually, because when you allow people to get away with more and you allow people to you loosen restrictions for only this one group of people, well then you're going to get people who cannot do the job that they're supposed to be doing, who cannot maintain, and other people's lives depend on that person at a certain point. So it's like, so you're going to send somebody in here who's ill-equipped and unable to perform like the men, and it's not like they're performing with in Ranger School, that's different, but like even in just like basic and stuff like that, it's like these are women going in with like regular men, like they're not super elite men.
Nope.
And they can't even compete with them. And it's like, if you're a woman and you want to do this, you have to be able to compete. You have to be at the same level. Same thing happens with police officers. The same thing happens with all kinds of different groups. And it's in the differences are like just unfathomable to me, because it's like, the guys will have to do like 75 push-ups and the women have to do like 10.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah,
and it's like, I worked in like security.
You have a son. He's about to turn 3. Imagine 15 years from now, we are in a big war and he has to get drafted. And he winds up serving alongside women who are performing at a much lower physical pace. Because I'm going to tell you what the infantry standard is right here. All right. You need to be able to cover 12 miles of open terrain in 3 hours or less while carrying a 45-pound rucksack at a minimum, 15-pound LBE, then your weapon. All right. And on top of that, ammo.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to physically walk that 12 miles in 3 hours or less, pull out your E-tool, dig a fighting position, which will probably be converted to your grave, and then wait for enemy action. And the next morning, you could get up and do that every single day until the hostilities stop, you get wounded, or you goddamn die. That is egregious. I mean, listen, I've seen 3 wars. I was almost killed in 2. I understand the physical and mental strength it takes to go into that environment, screw with death, and come back alive, and better yet, bring your people home with you.
Yeah. And when they don't lower the standards, how many % of women failed the fitness standard?
73, 70,
I
70
think it
some
was
odd
more
percent.
than that even.
No, it was like 74%.
Okay, wow. This
I
is
mean,
crazy.
when they went to that new gender neutral PT test, I think it was in the high 70s. Oh, you're looking it up. All
yeah,
right.
I'm looking it up because I want to make sure that we're getting the number right.
I'm not talking out of my ass. 84%.
It is. I knew it was higher. 84%.
I thought it was 74.
And that was the new physical exam that was supposed to become the standard in 2020.
The new rigorous combat fitness test.
Boom. And it was specifically the leg tucks. 72% of women failed that. So you had the number right was just for one specific thing. Sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
No, I just don't understand. I don't understand why women want to get in
They're
to these
brainwashed.
areas on technicalities. Like if you want to do this and you want to do it right, you have to be at the exact same level. You have to be at peak physical condition. You have to be. I mean, you look at the photos that are coming out of our military now. It just looks like a joke at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like
Generals
that's like
and
worrisome to
dogkin.
me. It's like I used to be really anti-military, and I've gained so much more respect because I've really sat and listened to stories, and I've listened to people, and like it really humbled me, and I realized like,
all right.
oh, like this is not, this is not what you're told it is by leftists.
All right. This is a real world Army story.
Yeah, they think every war is Vietnam where bad shit was happening, and even that was only a tiny fraction of the actual stuff going on over there.
Now, in New York, our battalion had to do I believe it was an 8-mile force march. Not even full 12. 8 miles. I remember I laced up my boots, I put on my rucksack, put on my helmet, grabbed my weapon. This is I've been here thousands of times. This is nothing new. I start walking. I'm keeping the 15-minute a mile pace. I get around mile 4, look back. Only people behind me, dudes. All of the women are literally miles behind me.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you got to go back and get them. I'm like, no, I'm not. If they can't keep up, fuck them.
And what cracks me up is that they're not offended by the military basically saying the only reason you're here is because we lowered the standard for you.
That's exactly correct.
It's a very leftoid position to take. That's exactly how they treat minorities. Well, you're not good enough to achieve this on your own, so we're going to add points to your test score.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And I had the same argument in college in political science.
Yeah.
They were screaming about the same shit back then. Women should be in combat. Blah, blah, blah. I brought in a rucksack and an LBE. All right. The rucksack was 45 pounds dry, 55 pounds with water, no ammo. And then the LBE, I put sand in there to make it simulate ammo. Brought it into class. These women are picking up and go, well, it's just full of sand. And I go, hey, bullets are full of lead. Now, and I went through the same thing. 12 mile. I went, and they're like, well, we could probably get a girl from the soccer team. I'm like, no. In a real war, when they do a mass conscript, they usually take all of the guys coming out of high school up to about the age 20, and they put them through the training. And on average, between 75 and 90% will pass first time go. It doesn't happen with women because the standard is so high. Most of them just get chewed into, hamburger.
Yeah. It's almost like there are real, concrete biological differences that no amount of hurt feelings and alleging words or violence will ever change.
Yeah, listen, you're absolutely correct.
Yep.
The whole thing is just infuriating to me. All right, you want to start some super chats?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ashley. We'll get to some super chats.
I was just going to ask if did you guys see that? I'm sorry, too, for there's a lag, so sometimes I interrupt and I'm really not meaning to. But did you guys see that clip of there was, I think it was Ranger training, actually, and there was a guy and they were doing hand-to-hand combat drills, and there's a guy and he was basically kind of sitting on top of a female, and he was hitting her, and the internet was outraged about it. TikTok was outraged.
Naturally.
But it's all I could think was, so you're doing a drill, right? So this person's going easy on you and he's trying to prepare you for real life situations. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to go through this training, you have to take it, because in the real thing, somebody is trying to kill you and they're that close to you. They're on top of you. You're in the worst position you can possibly be in. Uh-huh. And all of those things are going through my mind. It's don't want to do this. I'm comfy cozy right here. Yep. And it's just laughable that women really think oh, well, they'll go easy on me, or you shouldn't do this to women. It's well, you're going into a man's world. You're going into what has historically been only men. They're supposed to go easy on you. You think enemies are going to go easy on you?
No. Listen, I'm going to give you a little insight to the hand-to-hand combat in Ranger School. It was 3 12-hour days. All right. In that 3 days, we lost 15 students to injuries.
Wow. Out of how many total?
125, 130 guys.
So just shy of about 10%.
Yeah. And we had a guy with a broken arm, dislocated shoulder, broken ribs, but the broken ribs, they suffered and they stayed in the class. They were hurting units for about 2 weeks. But yeah, that's just how crazy it was. I had to get a butterfly stitch put on right over my ear because I got kicked by an actual combat boot in the head, training hand-to-hand combat. That is the level of force that we were using.
Yep. And yet women will not be offended by lowered standards.
Yeah, I know.
And out of the other side of their mouth, they are completely against a female draft.
Uh-huh.
In for a penny, in for a pound of flesh.
That's right. And I'm telling you
Look,
right now.
If it came down to it, man, and it was voting or draft, I'd take away my right to vote. That's where I'm at. I refuse. No.
Well, that's essentially the bargain that women took up.
Yeah.
It's okay, well, men are going to get the right to vote, but we're going to be able to draft you if you do. Women are well, we want the right to vote. We don't want that, though. Okay, fine. As long as this is all you want. That's all we want. 20 years later, now we want birth control and abortions. Son of a bitch. Apparently, I smacked the desk hard enough to make it click on something.
Nice.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.